Early last year, I did an interview on a radio program, a local Christian radio program in Longview, and there was so much positive response. They asked me to do a weekly show, and there were some sponsors that stepped forward to cover the cost of the show. It was a 30-minute show. Did it every Thursday at 2:30. Pastor Lonnie Murphy, a local minister who was also very interested in prayer and very involved in the staking of Longview and the good things happening here, he and I had become friends, and he actually was with me on the interview on the radio station. So he agreed to be my co-host on that show. We called it Hope, Help, Healing. And for those of you who don't know, I have a website called hopehelphealing.com. Hope, Help, Healing. And that's where I have my slides that are available free. There's over 7,000 slides available free on that website. And also I have a store with my books and stakes and other materials. But what happened, I had a blog and a website, and I'm a one-man show. I don't have help, and I have to schedule my own events and my travel, and also write other books and come back and take care of all the banking and reordering of items I need for the next event, and then plan to get those items to that event before I get there. Sometimes I have to fly there, and I ship some things ahead of time, and sometimes I drive. If it's less than 12 hours or so, I like to drive. And anyway, it got to be too much. I couldn't do a radio program and a blog and a website and schedule my own events and write more books. So I had to try to consolidate some things. So rather than try to blog and do a radio show and do a YouTube channel, it seems like the wave of the future is YouTube. And so I've shifted my stories over to YouTube, and that way you can share any individual story free and quickly and easily with someone who needs to hear that story for encouragement or to get some ideas about prayer. But the other thing that Pastor Lonnie and I did on a regular basis was talk about the power of prayer and what the biblical approach to prayer is, and an approach of faith, and pray without doubt, and some of the things connected to prayer. So we've decided to, on a periodic basis, every month, or maybe even a couple of times a month, depending on what's going on and how busy we both are with our travels, we're going to do a YouTube show on a regular basis on my Spiritual Warfare YouTube channel called Prayer Talk. And Prayer Talk will be a little longer than the other short prayer success stories and spiritual warfare stories that you've been seeing on this channel. It'll give us a chance to talk a little longer and in more depth about biblical approach to prayer. We may have some guests from time to time who had great prayer experiences or other insights on prayer that'll help encourage you and me and Pastor Lonnie, and spur us on to praying more often, more specifically, and more fervently against the enemy who's out to get us. So what I'd like to do today is just ask you to email me your questions, thoughts, concerns, disappointments, or excited success stories about prayer. Steve Hemphill1@me.com. Goes straight to me. It's the number 1, stevehemphill1@me.com. And I'm going to be collecting those. I'll try to respond to each one eventually. It may not be able to do them all right away, but also this gives us material for the discussion that'll go on. Those prayer talk shows will come on a periodic basis. The first one's going to be on April the 6th. I think that's Friday, April the 6th. So we look forward to seeing you tune in on Friday, April the 6th. It also is going to be announced on our last radio program, March 22nd. Here in just a couple of days is our last radio program on KJTX in the local Longview market. But we wanted to continue having something that goes more in depth on prayer, prayer success, prayer approaches, thoughts and ideas and concerns about prayer. So please email me anything you want to about prayer. And at some point we'll try to cover that on the show, but also we'll try to respond to you individually and help encourage you toward more prayer, more specific prayer, more fervent prayer, and anything to do with prayer. Meanwhile, keep praying. Love you.